Well, you do it every day. But also you find a community of people who are willing to read your work and give you feedback. And so that could be a reading group, a writing and reading group. And that's something that you carry with you through your career. I still do that. I have a very, I have an amazing group of women reader-writers who I meet with. At my stage, I find it sort of important to know whether or not they can get into what I'm doing. If they can't, then I feel like, well, I want to change it so they could. And because when I read their work, I think, oh, it's so interesting. Well, why can't I make mine as interesting as theirs? You know, having a reading group where there are people that aren't in your discipline pushes you to be clearer all the time.
We actually, in the Laureates, started a set of writing retreats where we took people away for several days at once, and we went away somewhere that had no internet. People had to take a project with them, you know, where they assembled the literature or something, so you had to have everything with you in electronic or printed form, and people had to commit to working on a particular thing for the usually 4 or 5 day period. So we'd get up early and not talk or anything, then working through till about lunchtime, and in the afternoon people would either keep writing or they might go for a walk or do something else, and in the evenings we tended to have a kind of collective discussion about something.
On the whole, I do like writing. I enjoy the process of writing. I'm a morning person, so I like writing in the morning, and if I have the opportunity, I write at home in the morning, because again, it's the thing of not feeling that you're in a very sort of rigid work environment. Seems to work better.
A number of younger colleagues here form writing groups, and they tell me really good tips that I then borrow. For example, this idea, I think it's even got a special name, where you close off everything and you say, I'm going to write for 20 minutes. And at the end of 20 minutes, even if you're old, you take a break, and then you think about writing in a relatively small chunks, so it doesn't seem I'm going to write today for 10 hours and produce something brilliant. What I try and do is to leave a piece of writing at a point where it's easy to start, so not where I have to go back and retrack. So I sometimes write a note to myself. I'll leave something quite easy and accessible to do. This is where I have to do one paragraph on the history of the Commission on the Status of Women. And so I can pick it up and I can do that. But I find if I do it first thing, then if something happens and the day turns into a bit of a spiral of distraction, I'll know that I've done something